Its mascot is a freckle-faced, red-haired girl with pigtails. And it was on this day in history that Dave Thomas opened the very first Wendy's restaurant. After starting out working for Colonel Harlan Sanders at Kentucky Fried Chicken, Dave Thomas was irritated that he couldn't find a decent burger in the Buckeye State. So on November 15th, 1969, he opened the first Wendy's restaurant in Columbus, Ohio. But it wasn't just another fast food joint. Dave had a vision to do things differently. He wanted to serve fresh, never frozen beef and to make sure every customer felt like they were part of the family. Born that day was the iconic square burger patty that was served on a round bun with the corners sticking out, giving the impression of plentiful meat, a bold choice that set Wendy's apart from the competition. Dave promised high-quality food with a side of care. People came for the freshness, but they returned because of the warmth of Dave's dedication to doing things the right way. In that small Columbus storefront, a fast food revolution began, one burger at a time. It grew to the third largest hamburger fast food chain behind McDonald's and Burger King, with 7,240 stores worldwide in 2023. And who can forget the iconic Wendy's commercial where a silver-haired lady stares at a competitor's small burger on a big bun and asks, "Where's the beef?" Wendy's continues to serve square patties on circular buns, sea salt fries, and soft serve ice cream called the Frosty. Wendy's was named after Thomas's fourth child, Melinda, nicknamed Wendy, and the red-haired freckled mascot is based on her likeness. Thomas later wrote that he regretted naming the restaurant after his daughter because once it became a fast food empire, she lost some of her privacy, with many people assuming she was the official company spokesperson.
Wow.
Good old Wendy's.
That is great stuff. That is great stuff.
I didn't realize that he worked for the Colonel. That he was with Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, apparently they were
How
buds.
about that? Yeah.
Well, that's good stuff,
All right.
you know. But I remember where's the beef?
Yes.
Was a mistake.
Yes.
Well, it was supposed to be, where's the hamburger?
Yeah, something like that.
Where's the burger?
Where's the beef?
Where's the burger?
And that even went political, remember?
Oh, yeah. And
That
then
was-
it became, where's the beef?
Yeah, with the Mondale thing. That was during the, yeah.
Oh, God.
Where's the beef?
Where's the beef? Okay, Doug DeVries from Crossway discusses why, this is very important, why is Christian apologetics essential to your Christian witness?
There are so many good books on apologetics and excellent definitions, and even more, there are excellent people doing it and wonderful ministries, and we're thankful for all of those. So it's hard to define apologetics concisely, since there are also some nuances and different methodologies, of course, behind the scenes. When I teach apologetics, I like to use biblical theology, and I like to define it simply as the church's response to Satan's lie in society. From a point of biblical theology, Satan, of course, the liar from the beginning, already Genesis 3 is telling us lies, and from his lie comes all kinds of lies and false religions and errors and ideologies and idolatries that are common today also in the world. Satan is the liar from the beginning. Eve, of course, listened to Satan, and Adam did too. And Adam followed the lie, actually, and brought the whole creation, the humanity, into sin as a result, Romans 5. However, God sent his son, Jesus Christ, to also be challenged by Satan, actually. Interestingly, he was challenged in the wilderness, not a garden. And Christ refuted Satan's lie. Christ lived the perfect life. He displayed the truth at all times. He declared the truth at all times. He defended the truth from Scripture even against Satan and his temptations. And Christ died for the truth, the perfect witness, the faithful witness from the Father. So Christ is the perfect apologist in that sense. And he gives us the example. So when we think about what we are called to do, apologetics is basically following Christ, speaking his truth, living his truth claims in a world in opposition to Satan's lie. And so we respond to the lies of Satan in society by witnessing to the truth. I like to describe it as what the church should say in response to the lie and what the church does or how the church lives in response to the lie. And in that light, then, whether it's more of an evangelistic communication, whether it's a philosophical apologetics, whether it's some combination thereof, It all falls under the category of Christian witness. We are giving a response to Satan's lie in society, and we're doing so by witnessing of Christ in our words and our actions, so that his truth will be proclaimed in the world.
Well, I think apologetics means defending of the faith, and I would hope that you have, well, let me just keep this short.
Okay.
The best advertisement for coming to Christ is your life.
Yeah.
Okay. My coffee just went cold, and I normally drink it because I don't like it.
Okay, but it is a good carrier, isn't it?
Actually, this is a Steve Johnson espresso.
Oh, okay.
But I need a little boost this morning. I'm really tired. But anyway, it got cold, so I have to go fix that. We'll be right back.
There's something different, so come and be different. Oh, I know that I am far from perfect.
Thousands of satisfied customers make Jim Clark's Consignment Country the most recommended RV consignment lot on the West Coast. Even dealers recommend us. That success comes from dealing with only the cleanest pre-owned RVs at the best prices, no high-pressured salespeople, and treating customers with respect. And we've been doing this in the same location for over 40 years. Before you buy or sell your RV, see why so many satisfied customers recommend Jim Clark's Consignment Country. Family owned and operated at 1630 Rogue River Highway in Grants Pass.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
When I was a teenager, I remember I was taken to Johns Hopkins Hospital for surgery. I was frightened at the idea of being paralyzed for the rest of my life. I was only a kid. Well, they pushed my gurney into the old hospital lobby and parked me at the foot of this big statue. I looked up breathless. It was a massive marble figure of Christ with outstretched arms. At its base were the words of Jesus from Matthew 11. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That day I was placed directly at the feet of Jesus, and I will never forget the warm embrace of his outstretched arms. I would replay that moment so many times, it became part of my healing. Friend, today, picture yourself at the feet of Christ, because he can lift your burden.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
The biblical instructions for coming to Christ are repentance and faith. So repentance, that is turning away from your lifestyle of sin, and faith, trusting in the Lord Jesus Christ alone.
There is truth in this world because God created it, and His Word is truth. We see this laid out in the Bible, the foundation to a reasonable faith. And that faith is centered on Jesus Christ and His great work.
Okay, welcome back. Happy Friday. Carrie Lake, you know, she ran for governor in Arizona, lost. She's a former TV anchor person there. And then she ran for the U.S. Senate and barely lost.
Yeah.
But she does talk about the impact of her faith on her campaign, and here's what she had to say.
Hi, Arizona. Carrie Lake here. For 30 years, you trusted me to bring the news into your homes, to tell you the truth. About 3 years ago, I walked away from a 7-figure contract in the fake news because I couldn't lie to you. What good is money if it comes at the cost of your soul? I was sickened spreading the government's COVID narrative. And I was at my desk one day and opened the Bible, and an old Bible verse gave me the courage I needed, the courage to walk away. I thought that would end my time in the public eye. But to my surprise and my eternal gratitude, the people of Arizona rose up and requested that I run for political office. This journey that we've taken together over the past few years has been once in a lifetime. It hasn't been easy, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. They threw everything at us, fake news, hundreds of millions of dollars, and the most vile attacks. And through it all, you never wavered. And I can't thank you enough for that. It was a movement of love for family, for Arizona, and for America. And I am grateful to all of you who shared it with me. Arizona is a special place, and I'm thankful that President Trump and a Republican majority in both chambers of Congress will be in office to help protect us. As I watch his cabinet forming, I take great comfort in knowing that America will be made great again. And that's good, because that's what the American people deserve. You deserve a secure border, a prosperous economy, safe streets, and free and fair elections. And I know more than anything that this administration will fight to deliver that for you. As for me, well, I can say for certain that truth will never stop mattering to me. You will never stop mattering to me. These memories that we've made together will never go away. They will grow sweeter over time, and I will never stop fighting for the state I love. I entered this fight with the Bible verse, and I will leave it with you as well. It's 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 7. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is for certain we can carry nothing out. It's an amazing Bible verse. It really inspired me, and I hope it inspires you. Thank you for everything. I love all of you. God bless America. And God bless State 48.
Great piece. Great piece. And she's polished.
Yes, she
This is her
is.
training in media. Can you say press secretary?
I can. I think that she would fill that spot really well.
I can't help it. The way that all the things that are included in that tells me she's talking to them. So we'll see. But she'd make a great press secretary.
I do believe. Yep.
Okay, I got Bill Gallagher. Oh, you know what? It's perfect to have Bill in. You know why?
Why?
I can ask him a question. I'll go out and have a breakfast burrito and come back while he's still talking.
Well, I think we have some food, so it's going to work out perfect for you. And you know what? He won't miss a beat.
No, he won't.
No, not at all.
No, he ought to
Okay.
run for something, maybe the border.
Okay, well, speaking of the border, here's an instance where somebody got off kilter and went to a new border as hundreds of bird lovers flocked to a sleepy West Yorkshire cul-de-sac last Tuesday morning to catch a glimpse of an ultra-rare bird from America, not seen in Britain for many, many years. Around 300 bird watchers crowded into the road in Shelf, West Yorkshire, where a scarlet tanager was spotted perched on a washing line. It's thought the small yellow and black bird arrived in the UK after being blown off course by strong winds from a hurricane in North America. Scarlet tanagers usually migrate to northwestern South America for the winter months. Some of the assembled twitchers had traveled hundreds of miles to see the unusual species. Dave Stone, age 75, said he had traveled 280 miles from his home in Exeter to the street in West Yorkshire in the early hours of Tuesday morning with 3 friends. He said, "We left Exeter at 2 a.m. We got up here at first light. It's near enough the furthest I've traveled to see a rare species." Speaking about his hobby, he said, "I've been doing this since 1985. If I get this bird, it would be a new bird for me, and it will be my 500th. Joe Eckersley, age 28, traveled from his home in Leeds to see the rare bird. He said, "I never thought I'd see a scarlet tanager in the UK, let alone in Yorkshire. It should be making its way down to Central or South America from the northeast coast of America or southern Canada at the moment. I think the most likely thing that's happened is it was blown off course by a hurricane. When you're flying and you only weigh a couple of grams, it's easy to be blown off course by hurricane force winds." Joe said the last sighting of a scarlet tanager was on Barra in the Outer Hebrides in 2014, but this is the first time the bird has been seen in mainland UK since a brief appearance in Cornwall in the 1980s. Website Bird Guide said the sighting was just the 8th in British history. And a tanager. It's a North American bird. It goes back and forth between North and South America. We have a version on the West. It's called the Western tanager. It looked a lot like the one that we saw the picture of. And when they come through and they come to when I had a feeder up, or when I see them in the trees, man, I act like them.
Okay.
It's like, whoa, there it is. Whoa. Yeah, it's cool.
All right, Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength and will soar on wings like scarlet tanagers. No, like wings of an eagle.
Oh, yes.
Take that with you today, Isaiah 40:31. We'll be right back.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
have on our team, policy experts. They're all engaged in foreign policy issues.
We actually try to go in and do something positive and actually affect change.
We had a series of cases primarily dealing with religious liberty.
Nations that had more religious freedom had better democracies.
We've taken the First Amendment, and that has been our cornerstone. It's to defend the rights of people of faith.
We not only hold our government accountable, but we hold other governments accountable.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
Ecclesiastes 3:11 says this: God has planted eternity in the human heart. But even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from beginning to end. Now, I want you to notice that verse. Notice it says, God has planted eternity in the human heart. What does that mean? It means that no matter where you are in the world, no matter what religion somebody has, human beings have a God-given, built-in instinct to realize there's got to be more to life than just here and now. Eternity was put in our hearts. We got to think there's got to be more to this. There's got to be more to life after death. Why does every religion believe there's life after death? Because God wired us that way. You were made for more than just the here and now.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
You're watching the Dove TV, encouraging and informative for Bend and Central Oregon. Seen on KBND 14 and these Dove TV affiliates.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. I am Jerry Bilden's best friend.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. 3 hours a day I am. No, 2 hours a day I am. Anyway, good morning. That's Jerry right over there. And,
good morning.
He is, he's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out if I had to eulogize you, what I'd say.
It could be a short eulogy. It might be that long.
Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Friday. A lot going on. There always is. We have winter weather out there. Mm-hmm. It's really amazing. Snow in the hills. Everybody's kind of excited about that. Anything special today?
Yeah, it is National Good Deed Doer Day, otherwise known as National Philanthropy Day. And especially those who put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
We thank you. That is good stuff. So it's your special day.
Did you know what?
What?
Just philanthropy being what it is.
Yeah.
You don't have to be wealthy to be a philanthropist.
That's true. You can give your time.
Philanthropy is attitude and heart.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And you can do it by buying an extra turkey and giving it to the Salvation Army.
True.
We'll talk about that later.
You can be a philanthropist by getting involved with Samaritan's Purse.
You can.
Yeah.
Or washing your neighbor's car.
Absolutely. Or my car. Okay. It's also, and this is a special day for you, I know. From experience.
Yes.
It's National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day. Get in there, see what's in the back part of it. Something you might have forgotten about long ago.
I think with the next office refrigerator we get, instead of having shelves, I'm going to have compartments for all you guys.
Oh yeah.
With your name on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that way I don't get caught throwing something out that shouldn't have gotten thrown out.
Oh, you've done that before.
I have.
You have a history.
I threw your lunch out one day.
You threw my homemade. Okay, so I'm going to get my lunch. Well, I've told this story many times. I can't find my lunch, and I tell Sue, I said, my lunch is gone. Where'd it go? And she goes, well, Perry was cleaning out the refrigerator. I said, what? She goes, he might have thrown it out. And I said, Perry, did you throw out my lunch? And you said, it was green. I said, it was split pea soup.
Yeah.
Homemade.
Yes. So anyway, I never will live that down.
I know.
And since Bill Gallagher's coming in, can I get you counseling?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
I missed that split pea soup. But on another note, there are so many things in our fridge, especially the stuff that have expiration date on it.
I think
you got to check that stuff.
RFK Jr. coming into HHS, I'm wondering if he is going to explain the legitimacy of an expiration date.
And what it really means.
It says use by.
Use by or best by.
Best by.
Best, yeah. So there are these different phrases, okay? So tell me which one's going to kill me.
Yeah. Maybe I'd have a little color chart on there.
Yeah. Yes.
If it's this color, throw it out.
Don't you hate it when you open up, when you take a condiment out of the refrigerator and you pop it up, and there's this crusty stuff all around it? Huh?
Yeah.
You think, that just looks like bacteria right there.
Yeah, but you know, if that's in your camper, you're going to use it anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay. All right. Also, it is National Raisin Bran Cereal Day, and there are many different versions of this, different brands of it, but it's all pretty good. And now with RFK Jr. as the overseer of such things, and he obviously has talked a lot about breakfast cereal.
Yeah, he
and
does.
how bad some of the breakfast cereals are.
Yeah.
I'd like to see how Raisin Bran comes through this. Other than perhaps there's some sweetened versions of it, you know. At least you don't think they're food dyes because the flakes are brown. They're not dyeing the bran flakes brown, are they? Because there are a lot of food dyes in a lot of cereals, especially the fruity kinds, you know, the bright colored kinds.
Is that it's sunburn?
It could be. Well, we know the raisins are.
There you go.
Yeah. So, okay, moving on. National Spicy Hermit Cookie Day, a very autumnish type of cookie, considered an old-fashioned cookie. Its spice comes from cinnamon, cloves, allspice, and sometimes nutmeg. And the added bonuses are the raisins, nuts, and dates. So raisins having a couple spaces today in our special day.
Peggy makes a date bar to die for it. It's a family tradition. So.
All right.
All right.
We'll take it. And finally, National Bun Cake. Any cake, any cake with in a circle
is good.
All right.
All right. Good morning to you. Well, it's National Make Jerry Happy Day.
Please.
Seasonal weather conditions continue over the top of our region. So today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, a chance of showers and patchy fog in upper 40s for Vancouver, Portland, and McMinnville. A chance of showers in near 49 in Wilsonville. Moving down the Willamette Valley with showers likely from Salem with a high temperature near 50, through Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene with highs near 49 and a light and variable wind. In central Oregon, a chance of rain with a high near 43 in Prineville, mostly sunny and near 40 in Bend, decreasing clouds in upper 30s in Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, mostly cloudy with a high near 48. Along the Oregon coast, rain and patchy fog in Coos Bay with a high near 55. Showers likely near 54 in Port Orford and 49 in Brookings. A chance of showers near 54 in Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, patchy dense fog and a chance of showers in near 49 in Grants Pass. A chance of showers, then partly sunny in near 46 in Medford and 41 in Ashland. In the Klamath Basin, a chance of snow, then partly sunny in near 40. Into northern California, partly sunny with a high near 44 in Wairika. Sunny in upper 50s in Redding. A slight chance of showers, then sunny in upper 50s for Chico and Sacramento. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then sunny and near 60 in Santa Rosa and 59 in Napa. Sunny, breezy in low 60s in San Francisco with a northwest wind gusting up to 21 miles per hour. And today in San Jose, patchy fog, then sunny and near 60. It's a look at your Friday weather on the Dove.
All right, that's Akron.
It's cold,
It's cold
out
up there. The snow on the ground, snow stuck to the pole on the chairlift itself. There you go.
It's a wonderful sight.
Oh, gosh.
Oh,
This
my
early in the
goodness.
season.
Oh, my goodness. So, all right. Well, we have a lot of choices that we have to make throughout life. And here, the Reverend Billy Graham lays out a choice that each of us has to make, and why.
You die the first time naturally. Your body dies. Now your soul, your spirit is still alive, but it's dead. It's dead toward God, just like it is tonight. There are thousands of people here in this audience in South Florida tonight whose spirit is dead toward God. Your body is alive. You go to church. You're religious, as most people are around the world. You go to India and you'll find more religion in any country in the world. But deep in your heart, you don't really know Christ. You haven't made your peace with God. Now, God doesn't take any delight in hell. He didn't create hell for you. He made hell for the devil and his angels. But if you persist in going the devil's way, that's where you're going. Now, when Jesus Christ died on the cross, that was a judgment. God judged Christ in your place. And Jesus, being who he was, had the capacity to endure hell for you. And when Christ said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" in that terrible moment, in a way that we cannot possibly fathom or understand, the Lord Jesus Christ and his Father were separated. And Jesus took the pangs of hell, and he suffered in that moment everything that man will ever be called upon to suffer. He did it for you because he loves you. And now God says you must repent of your sins and receive him into your heart. And if you don't do it, and you persist in listening to the voice of the devil who says you have plenty of time, or who tells you that it's not true, or whatever he's whispering to you, yes, you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice between some things that are wrong in your life, and you have to make a choice with Christ. Which will it be? What is your choice?
Well, that's the bottom line, isn't it?
Yes,
it really is. God bless Billy Graham. All right, let's take a look at some of the top stories. And, of course, in Washington, things are really being shook up, and he's not even president yet.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that's happening here by some of these appointments is sending a clear message to Washington. There's a new there's a new administration coming, and it ain't going to be typical in any way, shape, or form. And I think what President Trump is saying here is he's shaking things pretty severely with these appointments. I think he's also testing the loyalty of Republicans by some of these appointments.
All right.
Because a lot of these people have to go through the confirmation in the Senate. And some of these, including Matt Gaetz, will be a test to see if they are really with him no matter what.
Okay.
But I think Matt Gaetz will be the exception, that even people who are with President Trump won't be with Matt Gaetz.
That could be.
And I think that's the case, because already some of the people that are sitting on the confirmation committee are requesting the House ethics probe into him, even though they can't press it now because he's resigned. And I still think that there may be a wild idea, a couple of things that are happening. One is that if he doesn't get through confirmation, he's already resigned from his seat. He's done.
Yeah.
Is that the plan?
Is it? Yeah.
I don't know. The other one is, because he resigned so early, okay, and he doesn't get confirmation, could he be appointed to Marco Rubio's seat?
Oh, I never thought of that. Oh.
So I think Ron DeSantis, Governor DeSantis, is, you got to remember, this poor guy, not only did he run and get his hat handed to him, he comes back and President Trump is taking some key members away from his Washington representation, and he has to now figure out how in the world he's going to fill these seats.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot going on.
Do you know any indication of what the relationship between Gaetz and DeSantis is?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Trey Gowdy said it best. Matt Gaetz is a smart guy that you won't like.
Well, yeah, I think he's...
And the more you get to know him, the more you won't like him.
Okay, well, I think that's true. The more we've seen of him, the less we like him, period.
So anyway, we'll see where that goes. In the meantime, President Trump has nominated former Representative Doug Collins to be Secretary of Veterans Affairs. This is a great appointment. He's an Air Force chaplain, and he's now going to be in charge of the VA. This is wonderful. Absolutely. And he's a good guy. So that's one of the other things. And then the big one, over the last 24 hours, President Trump is nominating RFK Jr. to be Secretary of Health and Human Services. This is unbelievable. Now, this comes with mixed emotions. Some Republicans won't vote for him. Some Democrats won't vote for him. Some Democrats will see him a traitor. And some Republicans will say, no, I don't want this. And yet there will be a lot of Democrats that will vote for him, and there will be a lot of Republicans that will vote for him. I think he gets confirmed fairly easy. But the biggest thing is the legacy media is trying to say that he's anti-vaccine. He's not anti-vaccine. He's anti-vaccines that haven't been properly vetted.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that has to be understood.
Yes,
but
indeed.
in the meantime, he's a hawk on the quality of our food supply, and he's going to go after it.
Yeah.
You couple him with Elon Musk and Ramaswamy to go out and figure out the efficiency of these agencies, and some of these bureaucrats ought to be looking for a job on the farm.
Absolutely, especially with what Elon Musk said at the Mar-a-Lago event.
Yeah.
He said this is going to be a revolution.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, the second golden era of the United States.
Yeah. Now, do Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, do they need to be Senate confirmed, or is this just a... Because we've never heard of this department before.
It's not a secretary's position.
Okay, so...
This is a presidential appointment.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, it's kind of like a border czar. I don't know what authority they're given. But you got to remember, they are representing the executive branch, so they have the power of the executive branch behind them.
Interesting.
And I don't know where the limits are and all that stuff. So we'll see. In the meantime, a lot of the Republicans, House and Senate, are reacting to RFK being the nominee for HHS, and here's what some of them are saying.
All my kids are vaccinated, and I hope he's not going to move against one of the most life-saving technologies in the history of the world.
Do you think he was the right pick?
I don't know. I'd like to see more of his opinions, more of his thoughts on different matters, but the anti-vaccine mantra scares me a lot.
Oh yeah, I do. I think it's a good pick on the president's part, as all of them have been, and he'll do a good job. People say, well, he's a Democrat. Look, he's got an interest, he's got a passion for the medical field. He'll do a good job in it.
Yeah, I think he's fantastic. Robert's a friend. I've known him now for a few years. We've been talking a lot. We've had some private meetings with myself, with other members, about what we can do to advance what I call healthcare freedom. What he's obviously referring to is make America healthy again. We've got to disrupt the big pharma, big hospital, and big insurance that are running over the average American who can't afford healthcare. You got to be able to choose the doctor of your choice. You ought to be able to have money in a health savings account. But you also we ought to be disrupting the corruption that goes on with respect to the in and out of the USDA, the NIH, and all of that. And I know that's where Robert will focus a lot of time. So,
look, I mean, I think it's important that he's continuing to fill out a cabinet, and he's making it diverse. He's bringing in Republicans, Democrats. He's bringing in people of different walks of life. You saw Tulsi Gabbard yesterday brought in, and I think he's showing that he's looking at a whole lot of different people, and he's going to change the way Washington does business.
Well, we'll see where it goes. I think it gets confirmed fairly easy. It'll be one of the most lively discussions during confirmation hearings, but he can handle it. He'll do fine. And so as the shakeups continue, what is about 7 more positions still to fill?
Yeah.
Press secretary being one of them. So we'll see where that goes. Car washing director being another one. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Bulls, bears, and other market beasts. How can you be sure they won't eat your investments alive? I'm Michelle Slate. Lighthouse Financial shines guiding light on retirement, investing, and insurance. As you navigate the stormy seas of investing, Lighthouse stands out as a beacon of hope, offering you wise counsel and biblically responsible investing. Lighthouse Financial. Call us today, 541-494-1034.
Every day, thousands of these precious creatures die, murdered because apparently no one wants them, taken with their entire life before them. But in reality, there are many loving people who desire to adopt them, who will take every step to love, care for, and raise your unplanned child in your place as her parents.
What kind of life are you living? You want to be a happy person, don't chase happiness, chase after God. Don't try to clean your life up and come to God. Come to God and He will clean your life up. You just come as you are.
Harvest with Greg Laurie, Tuesday and Wednesday on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative.
Looking to find loyal, reliable customers to grow your business? The Dove is a perfect place to reach them. Hello, I'm Nancy Worth, Vice President of Marketing and Sales at the Dove. The Dove, reaching over 6 million consumers on a daily basis. The Dove offers a faithful audience who will appreciate and remember your partnership. Partner with the Dove and watch your business flourish. Sound good? Find out more. Call or email me, Nancy Worth, at the Dove today.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Anyway, hot mic. Good morning. We were talking about where Jerry was born.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Was there a lot of mooing going on in there?
Yeah, well, you know, we're farm country. We're on the farm, you know. But no, we actually had a little hospital in our little town in Northwood. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it was good.
Just kidding, Mom. Just kidding.
She's going, oh, gosh.
All right, good morning to you. 18 minutes past the hour. Listen, today I just wanted to take a few moments and ask you to prayerfully consider the next week or so as you are doing your shopping. And I think one of the reasons we've had such a huge turnover in this election cycle is the price of everything has gone up.
Yeah.
But 'tis the season to give and to love and to help and to encourage. And as you are out, if you can afford it, buy an extra turkey and drop it off at the Salvation Army or canned goods. Both the Jackson County and Josephine County Salvation Army outlets are requesting your help. Now, let me just say this. The Dove reaches from Lakeview, Washington, all the way through the state down into the Bay Area. And I'm sure there are Salvation Army outlets in your area. This is the time where you can go a little extra as you're doing your shopping. If you can afford it, buy an extra turkey or ham or whatever, but primarily turkeys they give away, and canned goods, and give it to Salvation Army. Just in our backyard, they're expected to give away close to 500 here in Jackson County.
Oh, man.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know what the count is in Josephine County, but I do know that it itself has grown significantly, well over 200, I think. And they're seeing a request for help gone up 40% from previous years. So the need is there, and this is the season. So please pray about it as you're out this week, this weekend, and next week. If you could buy a little extra and drop it off at the Salvation Army nearest you, and I'm certainly putting out the call for folks in Jackson and Josephine County to do this and help them out, and let's help them to help others, and let's help them to do what God called them to do, and they do it better than anybody else. And so, if you can, this weekend and next, get a little extra to the Salvation Army and help them to help so many people.
We just can't wait till you're ringing that bell.
Oh, I'm going to be ringing the bell.
Yeah.
And I'm up a lot of pressure because I have an award to defend.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
And so I'm given a 2-hour slot to ring the bell for Salvation Army. And they tried to move that on me. So anyway, I had to dig in.
But
nicely. Anyway, I'll be at the Fred Meyer South. I'll let you know well in advance. It'll be an afternoon. And what I'm asking is Dove listeners and supporters to just swing on by, put a little bit in the kettle.
Yeah.
And they can do the credit cards.
Well, see, you mentioned that, and I think that's crucial these days because so many people don't carry much cash or any cash these days. Yeah.
So they have a little sign out there. It's a little thing, and it's electronic. And you can tap your card on these amounts.
Yeah, okay. It's kind of like tipping now, huh?
It is, yeah. And so
for everything.
For everything. Tip for oxygen.
Yeah.
But anyway, I always tell people, just give me a card.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang. Thank you.
No wonder you won.
Anyway, it's you know, the first couple of years I did this, I didn't know about this. And then all of a sudden I realized what a opportunity to talk and to meet people.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, we'll let you know when that happens.
That's great.
All right, let's see if the card is being tapped on Wall Street this morning as we check in. Preston, Smart Lawn, he's a smart guy. He let me know that. Anyway, the Dow's off. Whoa, 260 points this morning. The Nasdaq's down 281, and the S&P is down 55. What's driving it down?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it RFK?
Well, we know vaccine stocks went down.
Okay. You know what? That could be it. Yeah. Pharmaceuticals having a bad day.
Yeah, maybe.
Gold's up to $25.78. Silver's hanging in there, almost $31. And crude oil's down $1, $72.08 a barrel. There you go.
Okay, well, you made a prediction when it came to RFK Jr. and his confirmation process that he'll probably be confirmed quite easily.
I hope so.
Yeah, I do too.
You know what? There's another era here. Can I just
absolutely
hog it a little bit?
Yeah.
I don't mean to be.
No.
I'm tired and I'm saying things I shouldn't
say.
say.
That's fine. We want more of it. Come
Actually, and I'm doing paperwork while I'm doing it. Anyway, I'm hoping that with RFK coming into the scene, we can put our guns back in our holsters.
Yeah.
Reach across the aisle.
Yeah.
Find that common ground and work together.
Yes.
That's my 2 cents.
I wonder if we'll be able to do it on this next subject, because as you mentioned, he might be confirmed readily, easily. You know, RFK Jr. What do you think about Matt Gaetz and his chances?
Well,
stir this one up. Yeah,
okay,
please.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
I hope he's not confirmed.
Okay, well, check it out. On Newsmax's Newsline, Texas Senator Ted Cruz said the Senate confirmation process for Matt Gaetz will determine his suitability for the United States Attorney General's office.
Well, I think it is critically important that we root out the partisan bias that under Joe Biden has infected the Department of Justice, has infected the FBI. Joe Biden has weaponized our law enforcement and used it to target his political enemies. That has to end.
Yep.
Now, I will say that was a pick that was, I think, very surprising to the entirety of the Senate. And so we'll assess the nominee on the merits, but there's a process that will unfold that examines a particular nominee's background, their experience, and their suitability for a role. I don't know that there's a more important position in this Trump administration than Attorney General, and so I think it's critical to have someone there who will follow the law, who has integrity, who is a constitutionalist, and who has the courage to root out the incredible partisanship and weaponization that has infested this DOJ. Look, I'm an alumnus of the Department of Justice, and DOJ has a long tradition of being nonpartisan, following the law regardless of someone's party, and it needs to return to that tradition, and it's going to take a very strong leadership of the Department of Justice to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see. I just don't think that Gaetz can be that nonpartisan. Number one. Number two, I think he has an axe to grind.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the long term he'll embarrass the administration.
Oh, yeah.
He is was under ethics and violation in the House under a long probe there, and already members of the Senate Confirmation Committee are asking for that report to be sent over to the Senate.
Yeah, it's not going to go away.
And the other part of that is he suitable for the job? Now, I will say one thing about Matt Gaetz.
What?
He's so ticked off about what has happened in Washington. He may be just the guy to drill down and clean out the DOJ.
Maybe.
But I just don't know if he is the one. Now, yesterday, President Trump nominated his personal attorney to be the assistant attorney general.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
To be a balance to Matt Gaetz. I don't see Matt Gaetz subordinating to anybody, and maybe not even to the president.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Yes.
I just think the guy's a loose cannon.
Yeah.
You can write me letters. It's Friday, and I'll just turn it off. But no, look, that's just my opinion. I don't mean to offend anybody. Now, I wonder if Ted Cruz was putting out a pitch for himself.
I wonder. And do you think Matt Gaetz was a little premature in resigning?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? I have to say this because the only way you can get credit for this is for God.
Oh, yeah.
That shows you how impulsive this guy is, that he would say, I've been nominated. Listen, he hasn't been, he would just got the phone call. Right. Yeah, I'll do that, and resigns.
And resigns.
And I'm going, you, first of all, he just hurt the House again. And that was a shot at Johnson.
Yes. Yeah.
And puts the whole thing in. But it could be the greatest gift we ever got, because now he is out of the House and without any job at the moment, with no guarantee he's going to get the next one.
You think Speaker Johnson is smiling about this?
Well, I think Speaker Johnson is smarter than we give him credit for. You got to remember, he got the job under horrible circumstances.
Yes, he did.
I think he's a good. This sounds bad, but it's true. I think he's the perfect middle of the road guy where he can manage both sides, and he's had to do that for this past year or so. But at the same time, I also know that he's a strong, committed Christian, and I think he's a smart, very strong, committed constitutionalist.
Yeah, it seems to be, yeah.
So, a friend of mine, Richard, if you're listening this morning, I wrote Richard, I texted him, I said, Richard, I'm putting your name in for Attorney General. You know what he wrote back?
What?
Is Al Capone dead? I go, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where that goes. Anyway, but Richard, I still think you'd make a good Attorney General. We'll be right back.
On the outside looking for shine, let it shine before all men. Let him see good works and then let him glorify the Lord.
Your yard is where life happens, but it can be muddy and hard to maintain. Enjoy a maintenance-free artificial turf lawn all year round with Smart Lawn LLC. No mowing, no fertilizing, no watering. Our synthetic grass is beautiful and resilient. It's certified to be lead-free, and there's no need for pesticides. Safe for your children and pets. Smart Lawn LLC has all your artificial turf and putting green areas covered beautifully. 541-941-3538.
From the moment that you invite Christ to forgive your sins and you put all of your trust in what he did for you on the cross.
The gospel means that Jesus comes into the pit and he rescues us. He declares us as righteous as God. We become his forever because we have trusted in him and his righteousness.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
You feel most alive where you feel most at home. And this is living. Bobcat, the company that changed the way the world works, is coming home with a quality compact tractor built to match your quality of life. This isn't work you have to do. It's work you get to do. So get it done in a tractor that's all you. See your dealer or visit bobcat.com.
Welcome back. 1:30 on a beautiful Friday morning, and a little bit of snow in the hills this morning. We'll keep an eye on that. In and out of the weather through the weekend, so be careful out there. Well, with the election and a little over a week behind us, the ripple effect across the globe has been pretty significant. So what's going on in the Middle East? With that in mind, let's check in with CBN News Watch.
This is CBN News Watch.
Thank you so much for joining us for CBN News Watch. I'm Ephraim Graham. I want to begin this half hour in the Middle East. Israel may be on the verge of a ceasefire with Lebanon. President-elect Donald Trump is said to be good to go with a ceasefire plan, and it could go into effect before he takes office in January. CBN Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell brings us the story now. He's reporting from Jerusalem.
The U.S. has reportedly given Lebanon a draft plan for a ceasefire with Israel, according to Reuters. That after the president-elect signed off on a ceasefire proposal while meeting with Strategic Affairs Minister Ron Dermer at Mar-a-Lago, according to the Wall Street Journal. For months, Israel has operated with a limited arms embargo by the Biden administration, but Trump had announced on day one of his administration he will remove all restrictions and delays on transferring weapons and combat equipment to Israel. However, that promise may be tied to a ceasefire deal, and there are still reportedly key disagreements to be worked out, including Israel's ability to strike Hezbollah if necessary. Some in Israel have been insisting in recent days that Israel must be able to protect itself.
The military campaign will continue until the immediate threat from Lebanon is removed and residents of our north can return safely to their homes in sovereign Israeli territory.
We will not have any ceasefire, we will not stop, and we will not take our foot off the gas.
Israel will not accept the existence of a terrorist military array on our northern border, we know what their intent is. It's to harm our people. Hezbollah's Conquer the Galilee plan, it made very clear, an invasion and massacre on a larger scale than the October 7th massacre.
For now, the war against Hezbollah has expanded to Syria, where it manufactures weapons for Hezbollah.
We will attack any attempt to transfer weapons from Syria to Hezbollah, and we will attack any infrastructure we identify in Syria that is intended to produce weapons for Hezbollah.
The IDF also attacked the military headquarters of Palestinian Islamic Jihad in Damascus, and it released intelligence of an extensive military infrastructure Hezbollah built along Israel's border. The infrastructure was designed to launch an even greater attack on northern Israeli towns than Hamas did on October 7th. And in the war against Hamas in the south, hundreds of terrorist fighters have either surrendered or been eliminated. Given Israel's progress, many are now considering what comes next when the war in Gaza is over. Reportedly, Israel plans a long-term presence in Gaza to gather intelligence, operate where needed, establish a border buffer zone, and crush the Hamas military entirely.
And Chris Mitchell joins us now from Jerusalem with more. So, Chris, in Israel, what would be one of the main objections to a ceasefire agreement with Lebanon?
Well, Ephraim, I think one of the main, if not the main, objection to a ceasefire in Lebanon is that it would be premature without accomplishing all the goals and literally of destroying Hezbollah. And that would allow the full security for the 60,000 plus residents that the spokesman referred to going home on the northern border. And that's one of the official goals of the war right now. And it also, if it's premature, it's possible that it would leave the Lebanese people still dealing with Hezbollah and Iran's grip on them. And that's perhaps why it seems in the last couple of days that the IDF has been hitting more and more Hezbollah targets recently, probably in Beirut. Much of that footage that you saw was in Beirut. And so the idea is that don't leave the job undone or half finished. People, there's a lot of pressure from President Trump, I'm sure, to have a ceasefire. But some people quote the scripture that says, there's a time for peace and a time for war. They want to make sure that the war is over and there can be legitimate and a full peace between Lebanon and Israel, and make sure those 60,000 plus residents go home to their on the border with Lebanon.
There are reports now that some in Gaza are speaking out about Hamas. What can you tell us about that?
Well, we have talked about this, Ephraim. It was a Channel 12 report. Many of these people in Gaza are speaking freely. It really bears repeating that they're doing this because Hamas is ruled with a rod of iron. If you speak out against them, many people say you get tortured or imprisoned or even killed. And these people are saying they really want revenge on Hamas and Sinwar. Also, what you're seeing there is in some of that report was the compassion of the idea that they're providing water and medical aid, not the picture much of the world sees. And you also notice that it's just so difficult for the Palestinian people. But the blame, some of these people are saying it really doesn't rest on Israel, it rests on Hamas.
Well, there you go. By the way, it's just been reported by Newsmax that Israel announced this morning that during its recent attack, it did take out a nuclear research facility in Iran. Oh. This is a big deal. Yeah. Apparently, this has set back their nuclear program and research facility significantly. There's two buildings involved. It was about 20 miles southeast of Tehran where this was, and they're just now releasing this information, this intelligence. Wow. So that also tells us that they are probably well determined to make sure that they never develop a nuke. Wow. So anyway, that's been reported. Yeah. All right, a guy that's nuclear all the time. You just don't know when it's going to go off.
Seasonal weather conditions continue over the top of our region. So today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, a chance of showers and patchy fog in upper 40s for Vancouver, Portland, and McMinnville. A chance of showers in near 49 in Wilsonville. Moving down the Willamette Valley with showers likely from Salem with a high temperature near 50, through Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene with highs near 49 and a light and variable wind. In Central Oregon, a chance of rain with a high near 43 in Prineville, mostly sunny and near 40 in Bend, decreasing clouds in upper 30s in Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, mostly cloudy with a high near 48. Along the Oregon coast, rain and patchy fog in Coos Bay with a high near 55. Showers likely near 54 in Port Orford and 49 in Brookings. A chance of showers near 54 in Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, patchy dense fog and a chance of showers in near 49 in Grants Pass. A chance of showers, then partly sunny in near 46 in Medford and 41 in Ashland. In the Klamath Basin, a chance of snow, then partly sunny in near 40. Into Northern California, partly sunny with a high near 44 in Wairika. Sunny in upper 50s in Redding. A slight chance of showers, then sunny in upper 50s for Chico and Sacramento. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then sunny and near 60 in Santa Rosa and 59 in Napa. Sunny, breezy in low 60s in San Francisco with a northwest wind gusting up to 21 miles per hour. And today in San Jose, patchy fog, then sunny and near 60. It's a look at your Friday weather on the Dove.
Okay, certainly winter at the top of the hill.
Yes,
Those
indeed.
of you watching with your ears through the radio, we're looking at the top of Mount Ashland. It's fogged in, snowed in, and frozen up there.
And frozen, and we're not done yet.
No, we're not done yet.
It's good news. But anyway, its mascot is a freckle-faced, red-haired girl with pigtails, and it was on this day in history that Dave Thomas opened up the very first Wendy's restaurant. After starting out working for Colonel Harlan Sanders at Kentucky Fried Chicken, Dave Thomas was irritated that he couldn't find a decent burger in the Buckeye State, so on November 15th, 1969, he opened the first Wendy's restaurant in Columbus, Ohio. But it wasn't just another fast food joint. Dave had a vision to do things differently. He wanted to serve fresh, never frozen beef, and to make sure every customer felt like they were part of the family. Born that day was the iconic square burger patty that was served on a round bun with the corners sticking out, giving the impression of plentiful meat, a bold choice that set Wendy's apart from the competition. Dave promised high-quality food with a side of care. People came for the freshness, but they returned because of the warmth of Dave's dedication to doing things the right way. In that small Columbus storefront, a fast food revolution began, one burger at a time. It grew to the third largest hamburger fast food chain behind McDonald's and Burger King, with 7,240 stores worldwide in 2023. And who can forget the iconic Wendy's commercial where a silver-haired lady stares at a competitor's small burger on a big bun and asks, "Where's the beef?" Wendy's continues to serve square patties on circular buns, sea salt fries, and soft serve ice cream called the Frosty. Wendy's was named after Thomas's fourth child, Melinda, nicknamed Wendy, and the red-haired freckled mascot is based on her likeness. Thomas later wrote that he regretted naming the restaurant after his daughter because once it became a fast food empire, she lost some of her privacy, with many people assuming she was the official company spokesperson.
Where's the beef?
Where's the beef? So what is it? What is it with our fascination with hamburgers?
I don't know. It's just an American icon, I guess.
It is.
You know? But the square burger was cool.
The square burger is cool. And I thought, what was that all about? But yeah, it stuck out, so it looked like there was a lot of meat on it.
And that was the marketing trick that Dave had.
Yeah.
The square burger went out from the edges.
Yes.
So it looked like you were getting more.
A lot of meat on
yeah.
there. Yep.
Now, it was only about this thick.
Well, you saw the commercial. They look really...
Nowhere
That's the other thing. Well, one day we're going to talk about the difference between what we get at the fast food restaurant compared to the images that we get in the commercials.
Well, that's another whole
Yeah, that's
thing.
a whole nother one.
But by the way, the little lady that said, "Where's the beef?" Where'd they find her? Because how'd they find her? There was a story about her.
I don't know.
That's the best one is she's driving in the car.
Yeah.
And she comes through the driveway.
Yeah.
And she looks at it and goes, "Where is the beef?"
She had a whole career, with that thing.
Yeah, that was really good.
Very good.
All right, good morning to you. This guy, he knows where the beef is. Yeah, he's a beef eater. All right, anyway, let's take a look at apologetics. Now, this is a big topic. They go from where's the beef to apologetics.
No, I know.
The only thing I can say about that is that in your Christian faith, do you know enough to defend it? Because in America, we've never really had to defend our faith until wokeness came along.
Yeah, right.
Now you got to defend. Can you properly defend your faith?
Yeah, you got 3 big questions there.
What?
First one you just asked. Do you know what you...
Okay. Do you know what you believe?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know why you believe it?
Yeah.
And can you gracefully defend it?
Honestly, I come upon that thought, that train of thought, almost every day. No kidding.
I guess I'll have a legacy after all.
Yeah.
Anyway, why did I say that? Brian DeVries is going to tell us about that.
There are so many good books on apologetics and excellent definitions, and even more, there are excellent people doing it and wonderful ministries, and we're thankful for all of those. So it's hard to define apologetics concisely, since there are also some nuances and different methodologies, of course, behind the scenes. When I teach apologetics, I like to use biblical theology, and I like to define it simply as the church's response to Satan's lie in society. From a point of biblical theology, Satan, of course, the liar from the beginning, already Genesis 3 is telling us lies, and from his lie comes all kinds of lies and false religions and errors and ideologies and idolatries that are common today also in the world. Satan is the liar from the beginning. Eve, of course, listened to Satan, and Adam did too. And Adam followed the lie, actually, and brought the whole creation, the humanity, into sin as a result, Romans 5. However, God sent his son, Jesus Christ, to also be challenged by Satan, actually. Interestingly, he was challenged in the wilderness, not a garden. And Christ refuted Satan's lie. Christ lived the perfect life. He displayed the truth at all times. He declared the truth at all times. He defended the truth from Scripture even against Satan and his temptations. And Christ died for the truth, the perfect witness, the faithful witness from the Father. So Christ is the perfect apologist in that sense, and he gives us the example. So when we think about what we are called to do, apologetics is basically following Christ, speaking his truth, living his truth claims in a world in opposition to Satan's lie. And so we respond to the lies of Satan in society by witnessing to the truth. I like to describe it as what the church should say in response to the lie and what the church does or how the church lives in response to the lie. And in that light, then, whether it's more of an evangelistic communication, whether it's a philosophical apologetics, whether it's some combination thereof, it all falls under the category of Christian witness. We are giving a response to Satan's lie in society, and we're doing so by witnessing of Christ in our words and our actions, so that his truth will be proclaimed in the world.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick, what is today?
Today is, we got all kinds of food. We had cookies.
Oh, the round cake.
Round cake, yeah. We had bundt cake. And it was all, Raisin Bran. Oh, yeah. It's good for you.
You need a little fiber. We'll be right back.
Owning a small business is kind of a big deal. State Farm agent Rory Wold can help you find the right coverage at the right price. Now's the right time to call Rory for a quote.
Many of you already bless your favorite nonprofits through regular financial gifts. But did you know there's another way to support their mission? You can also donate vehicles or real estate to the organizations you care about. Here's how it works. You give the gift of a vehicle or real estate, and in turn, you may be able to claim a tax deduction or offset a large gain. The nonprofit you support works with an organization that helps convert your donation into cash. This cash can then be used to further their mission in meaningful ways. And here's an added benefit. When you donate real estate, you may be able to spread those funds over several years, supporting multiple nonprofits with just one gift. It's a win for you and the organizations you're passionate about. As always, be sure to consult with your tax professional for details. And if you're interested in learning more, I'm Brent Sisson, Certified Financial Planner with D.A. Davidson. You can reach me at 541-608-4381. Let's work together to make your generosity go even further.
CBN Sports' Tom Buring steps into the ring with pro wrestling icon Hulk Hogan.
Don't make me come over there.
What faith means to this larger-than-life figure in the entertainment world.
It really was a major pivot in my life.
All of us are in our own ring, using stage names, characters. How did you take off that mask?
Watch the 700 Club Friday morning at 11 on the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome back. Carrie Lake, pretty interesting gal, former news anchor there in Phoenix, Arizona for years, well respected and trusted. She came to a breaking point in her career. You know, she left the news media. She went in, ran for governor, didn't make it governor, ran for U.S. senator, didn't make it U.S. senator, and now she talks about her faith in the middle of all of this and why she went from where she started to where she is now and what lies ahead. And here's a little bit of her thoughts.
Hi, Arizona. Carrie Lake here. For 30 years, you trusted me to bring the news into your homes, to tell you the truth. About 3 years ago, I walked away from a 7-figure contract in the fake news because I couldn't lie to you. What good is money if it comes at the cost of your soul? I was sickened spreading the government's COVID narrative. And I was at my desk one day and opened the Bible, and an old Bible verse gave me the courage I needed, the courage to walk away. I thought that would end my time in the public eye. But to my surprise and my eternal gratitude, the people of Arizona rose up and requested that I run for political office. This journey that we've taken together over the past few years has been once in a lifetime. It hasn't been easy, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. They threw everything at us, fake news, hundreds of millions of dollars, and the most vile attacks. And through it all, you never wavered. And I can't thank you enough for that. It was a movement of love for family, for Arizona, and for America. And I am grateful to all of you who shared it with me. Arizona is a special place, and I'm thankful that President Trump and a Republican majority in both chambers of Congress will be in office to help protect us. As I watch his cabinet forming, I take great comfort in knowing that America will be made great again. And that's good, because that's what the American people deserve. You deserve a secure border, a prosperous economy, safe streets, and free and fair elections. And I know more than anything that this administration will fight to deliver that for you. As for me, well, I can say for certain that truth will never stop mattering to me. You will never stop mattering to me. These memories that we've made together will never go away. They will grow sweeter over time, and I will never stop fighting for the state I love. I entered this fight with the Bible verse, and I will leave it with you as well. It's 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 7. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is for certain we can carry nothing out. It's an amazing Bible verse. It really inspired me, and I hope it inspires you. Thank you for everything. I love all of you. God bless America, and God bless State 48.
Any predictions?
That was her audition tape for
you think so?
That was her audition tape for press secretary under the new administration.
What would you think of that?
Well, I think first of all, she's experienced, and I think she could handle it. She knows now how the game really is played.
Yeah.
My concern would be that she's cooled down from the race. Okay. I think all her motives are fine, but you can't come through with what she's been through. And listen, our family's been through that. And you come out the other end and you're kind of beat up, and it takes a while to get healed. And it takes a while to put all those things behind you and move forward.
Yeah.
But because she's a polished journalist and TV anchor person, I think she'd do very well in that job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we'll see, but I think that was her audition tape.
It could be, and how would you grade that audition tape?
A.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she gets an A in that.
Yeah.
All right, I got Drew Allen will be with us, and we'll be talking to him. America's Last Stand and some of the latest headlines. As you know, he was quite the activist. Bill Gallagher will be with us, and relationships at home and in the workplace. You know, he held a seminar here a couple of weekends ago.
Yeah.
And I offered free divorce counseling after it.
How did that go?
I was a little busy for a couple of hours. Anyway, that's coming up.
No, very good. Hey, are you a bird watcher?
You know, at times I have a bird feeder, but I tell you what I did this year. I stopped feeding them in September because there's a saying, if you feed them past September, you've got to feed them all winter long.
Well, especially hummingbirds. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we used to have a bird feeder right out in front of our great room windows, and we got big windows in the great room, and I loved it. I was documenting them. I had Peterson's bird watching book and all this stuff.
Serious?
Oh, man, I loved it. It was great.
Were you eating their seeds? Spitting them out?
I've been accused of that. Funny you should ask. But what happened was because of these big windows in the feeder was too close, birds were like bouncing off of my window. And I had a cat that got trained to the sound. And he'd hear that boom and he'd go, oh yeah, there's lunch out there. So anyway, but hundreds of bird lovers flocked to a sleepy West Yorkshire cul-de-sac on Tuesday morning to catch a glimpse of an ultra-rare American bird that hadn't been seen in Britain for many years. Around 300 birdwatchers crowded into the road in Shelf, West Yorkshire, where a scarlet tanager was spotted perched on a washing line. It's thought the small yellow and black bird arrived in the UK after being blown off course by strong winds from a hurricane in North America. Scarlet tanagers usually migrate to northwestern South America for the winter months. Some of the assembled twitchers had traveled hundreds of miles to see the unusual species. Dave Stone, age 75, said he had traveled 280 miles from his home in Exeter to the street in West Yorkshire in the early hours of Tuesday morning with 3 friends. He said, "We left Exeter at 2 a.m. We got up here at first light. It's near enough the furthest I've traveled to see a rare species." Speaking about his hobby, he said, "I've been doing this since 1985. If I get this bird, it would be a new bird for me, and it will be my 500th. Joe Eckersley, age 28, traveled from his home in Leeds to see the rare bird. He said, "I never thought I'd see a scarlet tanager in the UK, let alone in Yorkshire. It should be making its way down to Central or South America from the northeast coast of America or southern Canada at the moment. I think the most likely thing that's happened is it was blown off course by a hurricane. When you're flying and you only weigh a couple of grams, it's easy to be blown off course by hurricane force winds." Joe said the last sighting of a scarlet tanager was on Barra in the Outer Hebrides in 2014, but this is the first time the bird has been seen in mainland UK since a brief appearance in Cornwall in the 1980s. Website Bird Guide said the sighting was just the 8th in British history. Wow.
Well, it's a beautiful little thing.
Yeah, it is. And, birders are, bird watchers, they have a very interesting community. As I said, I was marking down bird species that were coming to our feeder. And Pam invited a couple over one day to have dinner with us. And so the husband and I ended up at the front window looking, and this bird flew into the feeder. It's called a lazuli bunting. And he was astounded. He goes, "Jerry, that's a lazuli bunting." I said, I know. It's cool, huh? And he goes, "Yeah." And so we're talking about it, and she goes, "Man, you guys, all of a sudden, instantaneously, you were bros."
Yeah.
over a lazuli bunting. Yeah.
Wow. So this was a scarlet what?
The scarlet tanager.
Scarlet tanager. And it got blown off course because of a hurricane.
One of those hurricanes that blew through, yeah.
All right, well, it kind of fits our scripture today, Isaiah 40, verse 31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength, and they will soar on wings like the scarlet tanager. No, wings of eagles.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you got blown off course, man, those are big wings.
Yeah, yes,
Do you realize how long birds are flying before they land sometimes?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And it's true that hummingbirds will catch a ride on a goose or something.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. I love it.
All right, have a great weekend. Be safe and enjoy some snow. We'll be right back. Got some great guests coming up.
Let the nation sing it louder, 'cause nothing has the power to...
For 68 years, Ray's Food Place has been the fresh choice for your family. We're your local employee-owned grocery store. Count on us for hot buys every week and fantastic Friday one-day deals. Here's this week's one-day special offer. But remember, fantastic Friday deals are only available one day each week. Community-focused and convenient. That's Ray's Food Place. Proud to be your local employee-owned grocery store. It's time to run to Ray's.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Have it your way. Have it your way.
Pops, this isn't a burger joint.
Yeah, this is a jewelry store.
With Lashbrook, you can change anything from width to size to material. The best part is the warranties. Free through us, genuine lifetime warranty, and a lifetime free resizing. No strings attached and no fine print.
It's good to be the king. I get to choose.
Everyone can choose with Lashbrook, Pops.
Come into Father and Son Jewelry and have it your way.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
This week on The John Ankerberg Show. Is Israel fighting a just war? Are they really committing genocide against Palestinians in their response? Dr. Jeff Myers, the president of Summit Ministries, visited Israel to answer these questions and ask, should Christians support Israel? Join me for The John Ankerberg Show weekdays at 4 o'clock right here on the Dove TV. It'll be encouraging and informative.
Greg Laurie, encouraging viewers to know God and make Him known. Harvest, Tuesdays and Wednesdays on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative.
Focus today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and very timely for us to have back with us a little bit of post-election analysis. Drew Allen's back with us. He's the Vice President of Client Development there for Publius PR and the author of America's Last Stand and Will You Vote to Save or Destroy America in 2024. There's a picture of the book that is and was. Anyway, he's a widely published columnist and the host of the Drew Allen Show podcast, which you can go to DrewAllen.substack.com is his website. Drew, good to see you, buddy. How are you?
Hey, Perry, it's good to be with you. I mean, there's a little bit more joy in the air, I must say, since, last Tuesday and certainly since last time I was on.
Yeah, I saw a cartoon where a guy walked out and goes, fresh air again.
Yeah, it really has been. I mean, things have changed, and not in a superficial way. I mean, I had a my men's Bible group met the Wednesday after the election, and it was just I was saying to them that things have changed. Like there's an optimism that is just palpable in the air, and the American people. I think winning the popular vote meant something as well because I think we've lived a lie in many ways over the past 4 years with this depression because we kind of got beat down and thought, man, maybe there aren't enough of us or, how can this happen? But, we showed up and we did what we needed to do. And I'm really happy. This is an important moment in our history.
So given all the numbers and post-analysis being what it is and everybody's, extracting these numbers out these days. But to your point, Drew, how significant was this win?
Well, it was significant in a number of ways. I mean, it was significant in, giving us an opportunity to undo the damage that has been exposed. I think that, the last 4 years gave us an opportunity. The silver lining is that we got to see just how corrupt our government is, just how awful it is, just how insipid these different ideologies have been that have like a cancer, gone into the military and elsewhere, our schools, all these programs, right? We weren't really aware that this was happening, but 2020 up until now did. So it was significant in giving us a chance to save the country truly. And it was just significant for another reason, too. I mean, it has changed the dynamic and energy of the country. For a long time, the Democrats and, basically anybody who would support these either anti-American agendas or just kind of insipid, would wage these culture wars on us that were dangerous. They kind of kept pushing them forward because, the media would come in and they would attack, and we would kind of, get a little nervous, and we didn't like being called names. So we'd back down, and they really controlled us in that way. And there's something different now. Nobody cares. We don't care. Donald Trump doesn't care. The media doesn't have any power. I mean, MSNBC and CNN, their ratings have plummeted by 50%, their viewership in most of their shows. The Democrats have been calling him Hitler, all these things for so long. And now it's funny to me, Perry, because Donald Trump, well, unlike Kamala Harris, told people exactly who he was. He told the American people exactly what he was going to do. And now he's going about doing it. And so there's no power in the Democrats trying to create a frenzy about it, because we voted for him for this reason.
When you look at the numbers across the board, if we could set personalities and just even politics aside, there was something else here for a moment, and that is that nature was being attacked. And of course, we know nature's God. That's our God. But nature, just the basics of nature, were being attacked. And those who may not have an ounce of faith realize this is wrong. We don't want to go this anymore. We're tired of this. The answer is no.
Yeah. Well, it turned out, Perry, to your point. I mean, one of the big issues that is a known problem for the Democrat Party is their transgenderism stance. So, especially as it relates to biological males competing against biological females in sports, destroying opportunity for women, and obviously creating an unfair environment for our daughters and women in this country to compete in a fair way. And the Democrats have reasons that contributed to their loss, and yet they have not. They're doubling down on it right now. I mean, there's a little bit of a crisis in the party where some people are saying, hey, this is an issue. We need to look at this. But I don't think the Democrats really have the humility. Actually, I know they don't have the humility to actually recognize why they lost and to change course. I mean, their reaction to RFK Jr., their reaction to all of this. I mean, the reason that there's distrust in public health, for example, and the medical community is because of Democrats. It's because of the COVID era of the lies and deceit. And they just get mad and hate the American people instead of looking at themselves and saying, oh, actually, we created it. And you know what, Perry, they created Trump. They created me. They created all these American people who are fed up with a corrupt government.
That's well said. Do you think that the Democratic / legacy media authoritarianism is now, I don't know if it's mortally wounded, but it certainly has taken a hit?
I think that it is mortally wounded. Let me say this in a broader way. Because we won the election. That was huge. We got the Senate, we got the House. So we have an opportunity, if the Republicans in Congress don't sabotage Trump's agenda, that we can actually repair this country. And more importantly, prove to the American people not only that we are willing to do what we promise, but to show them that what we have been promising actually works. And so this is an interesting moment, because we have an opportunity over the next 4 years to pretty much end the Democratic Party politically, maybe forever, in terms of just weakening them to the point that, they're like a libertarian party in America. And that will be possible if Donald Trump fulfills his agenda, right? If there's no sabotage or prevention or obstruction by Republicans. Now, on the flip side of that, there's an opportunity that the Republican Party is destroyed. Even though we're riding high and mighty right now, we feel really great and optimistic. We had this wonderful victory. We pushed back against them. This will be fleeting if the Republicans in Congress do not pass this agenda, and if he does not do the things that he promised to do. Because, many Americans, Perry, went out to vote that maybe didn't even vote before, people who weren't politically active, people switched parties. There are people that this was kind of their last hope in many ways, and they gave this everything they had. And if they're betrayed now, this will put the Democrats in a position to come back.
Well said. So let's drill down on this. Will Majority Senate Leader Thune deliver for President Trump?
I've got to be cautiously optimistic, Perry. He's saying he is. Certainly he is a McConnell, understudy. He was the whip, which is, effectively the assistant of the minority leader is what, McConnell was most recently because we didn't have the Senate. Look, let me say two things. If you go back a year ago almost, we had this similar situation with McCarthy, right? So we ousted McCarthy, and the American people, conservatives, made it very clear that they wanted. Well, now I forget who I was going to say. Maybe you remember who we wanted. Jim Jordan.
Jim Jordan.
We wanted Jim. Yeah, we wanted Jim Jordan, and they had a secret ballot in the House to remove him, and then they went about, and we are where we are. But they had a secret ballot because they didn't want the American people to know, which representatives were being naughty, right? Because if they weren't concerned about doing something wrong, or they would have just had a public vote, they wouldn't have done a private ballot. But there were like over 100, of course, well over 100 that voted against Jim Jordan privately, secretly. And that was kind of a screw you to the American people. And now we fast forward, and we're in a similar situation again where, we made it clear who we wanted, Rick Scott, and they gave us Cornyn or Thune as options. And both of those people are historically rhinos. But it doesn't really matter, Perry, because the point is it was very clear that the American people wanted Rick Scott, right? So MAGA is the one who gave the Republicans in the Senate the majority, restored them to power. And then in return, these very senators said, we don't care what you think anymore. So that happened, and we need to pay attention to that, because this war between, conservatives, if you will, and rhinos, effectively people who are just big government bureaucrats and politicians, it's been going on forever. When Reagan was in, these same people existed, and they said there's going to be no natural place for you, conservatives, after Reagan's gone in this party. They couldn't wait to get past Reagan, which is astonishing because he was so popular, right? He won 49 out of 50 states. And so that's what's going on today. And so we paid attention to this presidential race, and we showed up and we elected Trump. But now we need to understand that this problem's not going away if we don't address these local races and, of course, the senatorial and Congress, and House races, because if we can't, make that a part of the quote-unquote MAGA movement, too, and get people in line, we're going to have a hard time, fixing the country down the road. So that's the first thing. But look, we're stuck with Thune right now. I have to hope that there's enough pressure from Trump and the American people that he will do what is necessary.
It seems to me that at the pace and those he is nominating to be in his cabinet, in a real sense, is testing the Senate to see who's with him and who's not. I mean, he is putting forth an amazing selection of people, and this is going to be the test in the Senate to see who really is going to be with this president and who really isn't. But the one who shakes it up the most is the Matt Gaetz nomination. And there's a high probability he doesn't make it. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I've been wrestling with that one a little bit, Perry. It was a surprising nomination for me. If you look at it from just candidates out there, that are strong legal minds that you might imagine would inhabit, that position. But actually, I got to give credit because I can expand upon it, but I just saw a clip of Megyn Kelly who was explaining it. I think she's correct. She said that if you think about, this Matt Gaetz pick is really it's very much about loyalty. And I've heard that from my kind of inner circle too. And Megyn Kelly pointed out, think about this. He had Jeff Sessions who, look, everyone I knew was so excited when Jeff Sessions was his attorney general back in, 2017 when he was inaugurated. That was supposed to be a great pick. And then Jeff Sessions, of course, recused himself, when the Democrats wanted to bring that phony Trump-Russia collusion investigation on. And the Clinton campaign and DNC had invented it, and yet they pursued it anyway. So he recused himself, and then Rod Rosenstein, came in there and handed it over to Mueller. And so, I mean, Jeff Sessions effectively just abdicated and was really cowardly. And think about the psyche. So you have that happen to Donald Trump, and it really kneecapped his administration. The first 2 years, he couldn't get anything done because of that investigation in many ways. And Republicans were sitting there pretending like it might be real, and they were waiting for a verdict to come out before they actually would start helping him out. And then you fast forward to 2020, and Joe Biden's in there, and he appoints, Merrick Garland, and then the last 4 years of Donald Trump's life have been, in many ways, a living hell, right? I mean, all these prosecutions and persecutions and collusion and so on and so forth. But Matt Gaetz is somebody who has taken Merrick Garland to task, who has questioned him in a very strong manner when he's been hauled in there to address Congress. And he's been very, very loyal to Trump. And that is important. I mean, so if you think about these factors that are bubbling in Trump's mind, he doesn't want another 2016 again where he gets stabbed in the back over and over again. So loyalty is important, and it should be important. And so, the real challenge to Gaetz now is, these swirling accusations out there from the House ethics community and people who are saying that he might have, had this sexual encounter with a 17-year-old at the time, and I think paid for sex or something like that. But, the DOJ didn't bring charges on that. And so there's no reason to believe that that's accurate or true right now. So anyway, so I just, as I watch Matt Gaetz in the past sit there and grill these people on the Hill, and I think about what Trump went through and what the DOJ has come to represent, I'm actually not personally that opposed to Matt Gaetz, because I think we need a hammer to go in there.
Okay. I'm trying to weigh all of the sides of that one. Like you, it took me by surprise. My brain's still on tilt with it. I'm not comfortable with it. And I understand what you're saying, Drew, but I also would ask the question, are you telling me there isn't anybody else out there that wouldn't be loyal to the president as AG?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, maybe there would be people. I mean, I don't know, but that was Trump's pick. I think it happened after they were on a plane together. So yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, but I guess my point is, I'm still wrestling, I guess, with it to some extent. But at the end of the day, given where we are and his other appointments and what we've been through as a country, I'm just not gonna go the route of the circular firing squad at some point over Matt Gaetz. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I hear you. All right, let me take a quick break. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out his website, drewallen.substack.com, and of course his podcast as well. There's a picture of the landing page. Let me take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Worried that inflation might burst your retirement bubble? I'm Michelle Slate. Lighthouse Financial shines guiding light on retirement, investing, and insurance. Helping you navigate the stormy seas of retirement, Lighthouse stands tall as a beacon of hope, offering you wise counsel and biblically responsible investing. Lighthouse Financial. Call us today, 541-494-1034.
We're to encourage one another. Has God touched your life? Many of us have a testimony, a story to tell. The Dove TV wants to know so we can encourage others needing hope. If you'd like to share yours, record a video of your story and send to the Dove.
Go to thedove.us/a story to tell for complete details.
We'll be playing these videos over the air to encourage lives. Consider sharing your story. From the Dove TV, encouraging and informative.
Don't miss this. After being stripped, beaten, locked, and left to suffer, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God. They chose to praise God in the middle of horrible circumstances. If we're worshiping God with resolution today, we will learn to worship God in persecution tomorrow. We need to learn how to worship God. Know this, when you come to church every Sunday, this is a rehearsal. We're learning to praise God, not just for now, but for the days coming when we will not need praise just for our own edification, but for our own protection. Praise is a weapon. You and I get to choose how we respond to persecution. We can respond in anger, or we can resolve to worship and amplify the values of God's kingdom. When the time comes, I pray that you and I will have the courage to make the right choice. And we resolve to worship even in the midst of mistreatment. God will get the glory, and victory will be ours.
Welcome back. Drew Allen's back with us. Always a joy to have him. Again, his website, drewallen.substack.com, and that's also where you can check out the Drew Allen Show podcast. And there's a picture of the landing page. Okay, Drew, to kind of drill down on a few more. The big announcement yesterday, RFK Jr. for Secretary of Health and Human Services. I think we all expected this, but it has kind of rocked the city a little bit. What's your take?
This is one that I absolutely love. Something spectacular, of course, happened, in 2024 here in this realignment in America. And you have RFK Jr., a Kennedy, a very famous Democrat who has, aligned himself with the MAGA movement. And he, of course, has the Make America Healthy Again agenda. The left is predictably outraged. And again, I've got to point out that, rather than look in the mirror at themselves and what led to this appointment, they're just, rabid dogs, barking and screaming and hate-filled at the American people. And, of course, the origin of the RFK Jr. and this whole – and actually, I think the movement's great, and I think that RFK Jr. has been greatly mischaracterized by a lot of people. I have to speak about this in a personal way, I guess, to relate to people because, I'm a father, right? I've got a daughter who's 19 months old, not to beat a dead horse. And then I've got another daughter that's going to be born, in the next month, January 7th is the due date. And the only reason I say this is because I'm somebody going to these appointments, these pediatrician appointments, having to get vaccines or make decisions if they're going to happen or not. And so as I pay attention to all of this, it's alarming what's taken place in America, and there is no accountability with the vaccine companies, and they aren't required to undergo the same scrutiny as others. There's no long-term testing to see if there might be adverse effects. It's just, here's a vaccine, they're always good, get it. And so what RFK Jr. is saying, genuinely, he cares about kids, it seems to me, that we need to take a look at how we do this again. And we just had an experience where we had the COVID-19 vaccine, which wasn't really a vaccine. They changed the definition, which didn't do anything they said it was going to do. And in fact, I have many friends and family who've been gotten, the shot. So I don't say this with any disrespect, but it was dangerous for many, many people, and it's proven to be an issue. But even beyond that, Perry, it didn't work. Mm-hmm. So we were lied to about masks. We were lied to about social distancing. We were told to listen to the experts, but only the experts that carried forward this tyrannical, playbook that took place. You had plenty of doctors at Stanford and Harvard, the Great Barrington Declaration it was called, that said, hey, we need to do this in a targeted manner. This social distancing stuff across the board, one size fits all, doesn't work. And these were brilliant epidemiologists at Stanford, at Harvard, or Stanford, and a number of other institutions. So we went through this. Masks don't work. They work. Social distancing, and then they destroyed so many lives over this period. People are still recovering from this. We can't let this go. And of course, Fauci was the face of this, and he was, Mother Teresa. He was like the first saint to be sainted, before death. And after all of this and trying to force us to get the vaccine and then admitting that it didn't work after telling us that you couldn't get, so this is their doing that we don't trust doctors anymore. And so RFK Jr., he met the moment in history. His whole life, really, and his expertise, other stuff was garbage. But as it relates to this, it aligned in this moment. And so the Democrats are acting like he's some anti-science person when they're the people who've been anti-science since the whole COVID pandemic.
It's amazing. I think he'll have no problems getting confirmed. I think this will be fine. I think he is the right guy. And I think down the road, when I heard his speech the day that he suspended his campaign and endorsed Trump, and he got off into the quality of food, the food quality control in America, agriculture, all of that, I think all of us heard that speech and our brain went on until finally somebody is talking about something that we've always been concerned about, but nobody really said anything. And he did it. And I think that won a lot of people over to that campaign.
Well, my wife is a very strong supporter of, Make America Healthy Again. And, she was a chef before she's been a full-time mother now with our daughter. But, and her whole expertise was nutrition. And so people think about RFK Jr. and it's all the vaccines. It's far more than the vaccines. It's about public health. And it's amazing that our government has not seemed to care at all about this for a long time. They don't seem to care about, obesity in this country. They don't care about any of these issues. Chronic illness is what he's promised to tackle. And, that's an amazing thing that we should all be celebrating. And we know for a fact, nobody has done more than RFK Jr. to highlight and, just like Donald Trump exposed the corruption in our federal government, RFK Jr. has exposed the corruption in the entire medical practice. And, and I think that's important. So he has a valuable role here. And I care as an American, and Americans should care about this sort of thing, what they're putting their bodies and so on and so forth. And I'm excited about it. And I know that he has brought a lot of people on board. And my wife, she's so excited to have somebody who is championing, like you said, the food and the farming. It's not just vaccines.
Yeah. I had a couple of the quick ones, Drew, before I run out of time. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, your initial thoughts?
It doesn't bother me. I know that, he wasn't a favorite pick for some people because of his kind of war hawkish stance in the past and so on and so forth. But he's a guy who's got a strong acumen. He's had a couple of blunders in the past, but it doesn't bother me. That's one where I was like, whatever. If he thinks Marco Rubio is going to be good for the job, he's gone through this before. Whatever. Let him do it. I think that Trump has a pretty good hold on these people.
The other one I think we're all very encouraged by, Mike Huckabee being chosen to be the ambassador to Israel. This is a big thing for people of faith, don't you think?
Oh, it's massive. It's massive. It's a step back in the direction that we were headed with Donald Trump. And, Mike Huckabee, of course, has been a strong advocate of Israel. And he, of course, is a staunch, devout Christian himself and just an all-around decent human being, I think. So it's an exciting pick. I don't know which of these I didn't hear the left complain about, though.
Yeah,
if any.
So anyway, obviously you're smiling, and there's quite a few more going out there that have to be named. Anybody that you'd like to see still looked at?
Let's see. I was excited. Tulsi Gabbard got in there. A lot of these are folks that we had as clients at Publius, so I was kind of excited. I think we've got 5 in there now. Yeah. I don't know. The kind of big ones I've looked at and seen. I'd recommend myself as the ambassador to Italy, but I don't think that's going to happen, Perry.
If you want, I'll write your name in.
Yeah. I think even with the people I know, that's not going to happen. I keep telling them, though, I could be the first Italian ambassador that actually speaks Italian, but I don't think it works that way.
Do you think Kari Lake could end up as press secretary?
Yeah. I think that's actually likely.
Really? That's cool. Well, good to see you, Fred. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out his podcast. It's called the Drew Allen Show podcast, obviously. You can go to drewallen.substack.com, and there's a picture of the landing page there, and stay informed. Drew, thank you, buddy. What's ahead? What's the Lord telling you ahead?
Oh, man, just I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I'm going to – there are a lot of changes that could happen. So if I work in the administration or something like that, I'll let you know.
Yeah, would you give me your cell number?
You should have it, Perry.
All right. God bless you, pal. Good to see you.
You too.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why McKelly's is automotive service with a heart. a heart for God, and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond. But that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
The biblical instructions for coming to Christ are repentance and faith. So repentance, that is turning away from your lifestyle of sin, and faith, trusting in the Lord Jesus Christ alone.
There is truth in this world because God created it, and His Word is truth. We see this laid out in the Bible, the foundation to a reasonable faith. And that faith is centered on Jesus Christ and His great work.
A joy, an honor, and a surprise when we get to have Bill Gallagher in the house. He's the founder of TeamWorks, and you go to TeamWorks, one word, -works.com is his website, and he'll come to you, your organization, and he'll help you with all kinds of things with staff issues, those that are challenging and those that are just a whole lot of fun. And this is what he does. He's also a pastoral counselor, a pastoral counselor.
Pastoral? Depends who you talk to.
Okay, anyway, good morning to you, Bill. Hey, by the way, Bill held his Wired That Way seminar 2 weeks ago here at the Dove, and very successful. I offered free divorce counseling after the seminar. And you know what was cool about that?
That's perfect.
You know what? I only had 3 couples, so I thought that was successful.
Well, it was very, very good.
No, anyway, you did a good job. By the way, he'd be glad to come into your organization and do this. This is very, very valuable information. People really enjoyed it. I think it really helps people to relax and realize the biggest problem we all deal with.
Yes, and that is?
You are not me.
That's right.
And I am not you.
Perry, this is a stat that I gave folks. This is just a little sidebar. It has nothing to do with our subject. But you got to know that the experts in temperament differences or personality differences, which is a real thing, that's the way God wired us, they say that it takes a couple 10 to 15 years to stop trying to make their spouse like them.
Okay.
And when they finally do, marriage gets better. It's called acceptance.
Acceptance, yeah. And I think that's a challenge for a lot of people, you know. But anyway, Bill did a great job, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And
yes, we'll do it again down the road someday, and you know, I'll have to rent the expo.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know about that. We'll just do it again.
Okay. All right, we're going to deal with boundaries, and here we are. We're a week and a half away from Thanksgiving, and it's coming.
Yep.
That begins the holiday season, and we're coming out of a very contentious political season. It was tense going into it. It's even more tense coming out of it in some ways.
Yep.
And getting together at holidays could be pretty stressful.
Very, very stressful. And it's the one time a year when it's generally a most stressful season because many family and friends get together that they don't see that often. And the challenge for that for many people is there's unresolved issues among family and friends that just keep going round and round and round and round every year, and they just tolerate the people at the dinner table in some cases and still don't fix the ultimate problem.
Okay, so let's dissect this. What is biblical boundaries?
Okay, biblical boundaries, first of all, God is the one that created them.
Okay, well, that's nice to know.
So, so this is a biblical Christian station.
Yeah.
So God created boundaries. He tells us what we can do and what we can expect and what we should not do and what we can expect if we do the wrong thing. So boundaries are very, very biblical. They're a line in the sand. They are expectations, personal rules of what you will allow to happen to you or not. The healthiest marriages are husbands and wives that have expectations they know of each other and respect them. But when you cross the line, there's problems in the marriage. So a biblical boundary would be an expectation, a personal rule. It keeps you safe. It makes your relationships healthier because people know where your beginning and your end is, okay? So maybe a couple examples. And of course, Jesus had boundaries all the time. I'll give you an example. Okay, this might help all of us.
Yeah.
Prodigal son. So the father had a son, and he was a teenager, and the son decided that he no longer wanted to live according to his father's expectations, but that he wanted to cash in his father's estate, which, by the way, they never allowed in those days. So for the father to even give him his share of the estate was kind of amazing. Essentially, he was saying to his father, "You're as good as dead to me. Give me my money now," because they only gave money from the state when the parent died. So this young man decided he wanted to cut and run, and obviously, based on what he did, he spent everything in riotous living. And this young man realized that he could not have his way as long as he lived in his father's house. Because his father had a boundary. There's expectations in our house. There's respect in our house. And so he cashed in and he left, and his father didn't run after him. His father didn't say, "Wait a minute, let's negotiate. What can I do to make you more comfortable in our home?" He let him go. He let him go.
Yeah.
Because he knew that he wouldn't be comfortable in the father's house, and the father knew that it wouldn't be a comfortable situation to keep him in the house with that mindset, so the father let him go. He didn't run after him. He didn't shake his fist on the porch. And the reason I know he didn't shake his fist on the porch is because when the young man lost everything, the picture in his mind was a gracious, merciful, kind father. And then when he came back, then the father runs out, kisses him, throws a big party for him, because my son was dead and now he's alive. There's a good biblical example of a boundary.
Wow.
That is set. And I mean, we can go on and on and on.
What is a misconception of a boundary?
Well, a misconception of a boundary would say that some Christians say, well, I don't think boundaries are kind. I think boundaries lack grace. I think boundaries are stifling and suffocating. And yet it could be those very same Christians that complain about the chaos and the misery in their life because the same thing keeps happening over and over and over again. And so a question that I have for our audience, if you go, well, what is a boundary? And I can tell you right now, if there's an area in your life that keeps happening that causes severe misery, mostly in other relationships, or chaos, and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and enough is enough, that means you need to set a boundary. And do something different, and I can tell you how to do all that, but that's how you know you need to set a boundary, is because your life's not going well and you're allowing things to continue.
That kind of underscores something you've heard me say, and I say quite often, and that is, you know, all of these things are wonderful, and I believe God uses them, from sermons to books to seminars and to a television broadcast. But only two things really make you change: inspiration or desperation. You reach a point where something has got to give.
And that's called enough is enough. And by the way, for those of you that are in a situation and you're going, I don't want to do the holidays again this year. I mean, I have more and more people say I hate the holidays. And you know what the usual reason is? The usual reason is because they deal with dysfunctional family members and friends. And so they hate the holidays. And, you know, so there's proper ways to set boundaries, and I don't want to open a can of worms. And there's improper ways to set boundaries, such as what I've heard recently.
Okay, go.
That if your family members do not hold the same political views, do not go to their home during the holidays. Now, some people would say, well, what's appropriate? Maybe they're just exhausted, but I got all that. You know that you need to set a boundary, and an appropriate one, when your motivations are right.
Oh, okay.
So if your motivations is to have a restored relationship and show respect, because boundaries are very kind expressions, very, very kind.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus sent them. God is love.
Mm-hmm.
They're very, very kind. But if your motivation is to teach someone a lesson, or you're bitter and unforgiving, that's not a boundary. That's called bitterness. So there's a difference between boundaries and bitterness. Okay. I just thought I'd throw that little nugget out to you.
You know, I want to have a national referendum.
Okay.
No more political yard signs.
Oh, that's pretty good. People tear them down anyway.
Well, no,
they're not the right ones.
No, but see, that's the point.
Yeah.
You're walking down the neighborhood, and all of a sudden you see a political yard sign that doesn't agree with you. You're no longer going to love that neighbor.
Yep.
And God didn't call us to love the church or pastors or anything else. He called us to love our neighbor.
Yeah.
So I think we ought to do with political yard signs. That's one way we can start healing the country again.
There's a new movement right there.
Well, I know. I'm not doing anything between midnight and 4.
So people say, I don't know when to draw a boundary here. Well, here's a couple things.
Okay. It's usually too late.
It's usually too late, and they come to me when it's too late.
Yeah.
And then I'm in this big mess. You know that you need to draw a boundary when the misery becomes too much and you can't take it anymore. Enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know you need to draw a boundary when something continually happens to you that you don't want to happen. Or you're continually doing something for someone else they should be doing for themselves. Hello?
Yeah, but that presupposes, doesn't it, that you're right and they're wrong?
Well, it depends what the need is.
Yeah.
If you have a family member, an adult child that's lazy and has addiction problems, and you keep paying their bills, you need to set a boundary.
Yeah.
Because even Paul says, if you don't work, you don't eat.
Okay.
That's a boundary, by the way.
Okay.
The big one. We're going to go into... I think it's the right time to set a boundary when you're angry enough to make a change.
Oh, okay.
There are some angers that are very motivational and very healthy.
Okay.
And if you're a people pleaser, sometimes you need to get angry enough of feeling like you've been taken advantage of that you finally say, I'm done with this relationship. I'm not giving another nickel, because it's unhealthy. You got to be angry enough sometimes to do the right thing.
Yeah, we usually don't until we have to.
Until we have to. Yeah, most of us. Yeah. And then it's time to set a boundary when you feel very, very resentful and are very frustrated, or when you start avoiding people. Now, sometimes it's healthy to avoid people, but if you start avoiding the people that God's put in your life that you should be loving the most, that's like a sign that something different needs to change.
Okay, so how do you make sure you don't set a boundary out of retaliation?
Check your motivations.
Okay, so the motivation should be you're protecting yourself first.
Yes, which there's nothing wrong with that in many cases, right? To protect yourself if you've been taken advantage of.
Well, that's kind of where I'm going. It seems selfish, but at the same time, it's healthy.
No, God wants us to protect ourselves in certain situations. Very much so.
Okay.
He's our Father. He wants us to protect ourselves. So boundaries are never selfish. But I know we got to take a break, but boundaries are never or they can be selfish, but boundaries, a godly biblical boundary is not motivated by selfishness. Jesus came, the Bible says of Jesus, full of grace and truth.
Mm-hmm.
Grace is the kindness and the mercy of God, and most Christians err on that side too much.
I get it.
Too much.
That's when you and I get them.
Yeah, that's when we get them. They can't say no. They say I'm okay when they're really not. It's kind of dishonest. So Christians can be too gracious, can't say no, afraid of conflict. But Jesus came full of grace and truth, and truth is where the boundary comes in. Truth says we're not going to allow this to happen in our home anymore.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
So I think what we ought to do, for the sake of time, we'll take a break here. We come back. Let's set some, I say hypothetical boundaries, but let's set some boundaries that could be really applicable going into this holiday season.
Okay, sure.
You know, so if I didn't want you to come to my house.
Why do you smile and look at me when you say that?
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hello, everyone in Dove Land. My name is Todd Friel, host of Wretched TV, inviting you to join us for Wretched, the TV program I host. If you have evangelism heebie-jeebies, you're terrified to share your faith. We hit the streets, we talk to real human beings about the gospel of Jesus Christ, and you get to be a fly on the wall. We hope you'll join us for Wretched.
Weekdays and weeknights on the Dove TV.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
You really have sort of the wireframe, if you will, the template of how to pray. First of all, it's your Father who art in heaven. Yes, he's God. Yes, he's all powerful. But guess what? He's your Father. And he's your Father who loves you. Jesus said, it's your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. We don't follow a stingy God. We don't follow an angry God. God is not mad at you. God is mad about you. And he can't keep his eyes off of you. And he wants to hear from you. My Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It's great to offer worship and praise to God when you pray. Thank him for what he has already done and ask for his will in your life.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
Welcome back. We got Bill Gallagher in the house. We're talking about boundaries as you go into this holiday season. By the way, Bill heads up Teamworks, and it's a great organization where he comes into you and your organizations and helps you with all kinds of personnel issues and challenges. And you can get a hold of him through teamworks-works.com.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're talking about boundaries, and boundaries is the thing that you have to do to stop the chaos and repeating the constant thing that happens all the time. It is, at times, if we're not, it's the elephant in the room that we're trying to control.
Yeah, it's the elephant in the room.
So are we trying to kick the elephant out or just stop it from moving?
We're trying to kick them out. And when you talk about the elephant in the room, elephants are they symbolize, obviously, very large problems that are hard to move.
All right.
And one person can't move an elephant, it has to take a team or an entire family. So elephants in the room generally are walked around. And the next time I come on, I want to do boundaries in your professional life, your workplace. Here we're just focusing on holidays and family.
Right.
But they're big problems that they're, and everybody starts walking around them. And it's interesting, either in the workplace or in the home. Let's say you have someone visiting you in the home, a friend for the first time, and they say something like, something's not right. Something wasn't right there. I mean, I saw Uncle Harry. We talked about him last year. You know, he fell asleep and his face was on the table and he was drunk as a skunk and the little kids are snickering and wondering what's going on.
Yeah.
Why does that happen every year? How come we can't move that elephant out of the room?
Yeah.
Well, we love Uncle Harry. Yeah, but you love your kids?
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually something that's obvious to outsiders, but it becomes a culture and a norm for a family.
Oh.
And people just walk around it, and then they go, I don't want to do this anymore. Why do you keep doing it then? That's what I say if they come to me.
Okay, so we're at a critical point. If there's an elephant in the room, and we're a week away from Thanksgiving.
Well, here's the first thing. The first idea is if you want to make a change at the Thanksgiving table this year, whether it's yours or someone else, don't wait till Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Because once a person that you need to resolve things with or behaviors crosses the threshold, it's too late. If a family member wants to come live with you for 6 weeks until they sell their home, but there's no time frame given. Oh, you can stay with us as long as you want. Come talk to me in a year, they'll still be there. So you have to set a boundary before the event, before they cross the threshold. And you do that by a phone call. You do it by a letter. You do it by meeting them for lunch and letting them know that this year at our Thanksgiving table, things are going to be a little different.
Okay. Now, a couple things there. Obviously, you run the risk of offending them.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the consequences of, that's the price you're going to pay for ending the chaos.
Yeah, it's called tough love.
Tough love.
But you see, if you don't end this chaos, you create other chaoses that continue to grow. You know, elephants have babies too.
Yeah.
If you don't get them out of there soon enough, they start having babies, and the problems grow more.
Okay.
So, yes, you have to, if you're going to set a boundary, you got to be clear, ask the Lord to direct you, get good biblical counseling, because it is a risk. I'm glad you said that, because setting a boundary is a risk, because they either accept it or they reject it.
Right. So the other thing is, are you being fair with this? In other words, have you gone too far with your own personal emotions? Have you properly defined the elephant in the room?
That's a good question. Yeah, it's time to do some self-evaluation. Once again, check your motives. Why do you want to say, I don't want our uncle to keep coming because he gets sloppy drunk every Thanksgiving? Why is that? Well, like I said, if you got kids, if you know, and this is what I really just don't quite understand, although I've been boundaryless in my life as well. I just know them now, is allowing the same chaos to continue and then complaining about it for months and doing nothing. That's insanity, if you ask me.
Okay, so let me ask, what time is it? I got to time this out. A lot of reasons, a big reason why people don't set boundaries, because they have a history of not being able to make decisions.
Yes, and fear of conflict is probably one of the biggest reason of having a hard time making decisions is fear of conflict. Like I want to please the person with my decision, and if I'm not going to please them or I'm not sure, then they vacillate. Okay, so fear is usually what keeps people from pleasing people and not saying enough is enough. It's fear, and the Bible tells us, I'm told 365 times, which is one a day for a year.
Fear not.
Fear not. So does the Lord want us to live in fear about what other people think or say? Or does he want us to be free and honest and gracious?
Okay, so what other part of this decision-making and making boundaries? I'm just assuming the elephant in his room is a person and is irritable.
Or a habit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's irritable to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you make sure that in setting this boundary, it may be you remove yourself instead of removing Uncle Harry?
Well, what you do, and I'll just give you the kind of the matrix of a boundary real quick. You set the boundary. Now, a boundary is something you don't want to allow for you and your family anymore. You don't put a boundary on someone else. You set it for you. So it's about what you're going to allow to continue or not. And so if you set a boundary, and by the way, here's another big thing. A boundary is not an ultimatum. People don't like ultimatums. They're not successful. Okay. So an ultimatum says, you better do this at Thanksgiving or you'll never be, or not do that at Thanksgiving, or you're never coming to a Thanksgiving dinner again. Not effective.
You just lost it.
Yeah. A boundary is about what you're going to allow at your Thanksgiving dinner, and then you give your loved one a choice to accept it or not.
Good stuff.
So if Uncle Harry ends up and and someone doesn't draw a boundary, and you've talked with him, and he starts drinking, he's dismissed from the table, or you don't go back there next Thanksgiving.
Okay.
But it's not what you want to do. It's like kind of what the person's not receiving what you're saying, and that's very disrespectful.
All right, so let's deal with one of the elephants in the room this season.
Okay.
The election's over. There are going to be happy people and angry people.
Yes.
How do you set the boundary for that conversation going in from a week from Thursday?
That's very simple. It's kind of like, folks, we all know what's happened, and we're split, and, we love you. Matter of fact, I have for the Dove, folks, I wrote a newsletter called Managing Oppositional Political Views at Work and in the Home.
Okay.
And if you want that newsletter, I'll send it to you. It's free. Bill at teamworks-works.com. Email me, bill@teamworks-works.com, and I will email you a newsletter. I just put it on LinkedIn the other day on how to navigate oppositional political views.
Okay.
In the home and with friends.
Okay.
So I would say one of the first steps would be a phone call to announce, look, we all come from different places. We know there's been a lot of emotions this last week in our country. We love you as family, and we don't want to cross the line of political discussions. We just don't want, we want it to be about us and our relationships. And by the way, whoever came up with the crazy idea, I think it was a psychiatrist, just don't go be with your family anymore the holidays. Well, maybe if you're too broken, maybe you need to take a break. But the bottom line is, how stupid can you get? You're going to...
Do you have an opinion?
You're going to jeopardize your relationship with your family who's been in your life your entire life and many years to come. You're going to jeopardize that because you didn't get your political choice? I mean, simple math says that's not very smart.
Okay.
But if you need a break, take a break. I mean, I think the whole thing is if you're really bitter and angry at your family, don't expect it to just go away.
Right. I
mean, count the consequence. What's of higher value, your family and your future?
Well, it should be your family and your future. I mean, if there's an old saying, if your ministry doesn't work at home, don't export it.
There you go. Very, very good. Yeah.
So if what you believe doesn't first work in your own backyard, don't take it out and take your sign down until you got to figure it out.
That's right. So if you're concerned during the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and you want it to be different. I mean, another one, I worked with a couple one time, and they came to me, and she was frustrated because there was 4 sons. She was married to one of the sons, so there was 4 sons, 4 daughters-in-laws, and every year the sons' fathers mandated where they were going to do their Christmas week. And now this couple was having kids, and they said, well, we want to start our own family traditions. But the husband was so afraid to talk to his father, he's a very powerful guy, that he would never do anything. And I said, are you willing to speak up for your family? And you guys want to go snowshoeing? He goes, I think so. I go, I think so? Well, that's why you're here, for one thing, because you only think so.
Yeah.
It's time to set your own traditions, and if, be gracious. You can be very kind to your dad. You can make these changes. You could still see him at Christmas time, but those 2 days, you're creating a tradition with your family.
So could boundary setting, the challenge and the pain of it, be reduced by a self-examination that maybe you haven't forgiven somebody?
Oh, yeah. Sure. I think so. By the way, I want to leave the people before we go with 2 authors.
2 authors.
That write about this all the time. They're the best.
Bill Gallagher.
No, I'm afraid to write a book.
Yeah,
okay.
Please don't.
Dr. Cloud and Dr. Townsend.
Oh, well, that's the premier book.
Who I've interviewed on the Dove 3 times. I love those guys. They've been writing on boundaries for 50 years now. So they're the best. But there's another Christian psychologist that is very, very powerful. He's actually written a book called Enough is Enough. And his name's Dr. Clark, so I highly recommend. And this is if you're in a very, very serious marriage or situation where there's abuse and you need to stop the chaos. Dr. Clark, Christian psychologist, or Townsend and Cloud, are the best authors on boundaries. Yeah. So I just want people to have a very merry, happy, hey, we can say Merry Christmas again without people running after us.
Yeah, well, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Turkey.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
So the next time I come on, I want to do professional boundaries in the workplace. I have a training on that.
I just got a book from our good friend, Kevin Lehman.
Oh, I love that guy.
He just wrote a new book. He sent me an autographed copy sitting on my desk. How to Be a New Leader by Friday.
He has the best titles. I would say How to Set Boundaries by Friday.
Well,
you can stop your chaos in days.
All of his books by Friday. Have a New Husband by Friday. Have a New Wife by Friday.
Oh, they're all that.
Have a New Teenager by Friday. He's gone to the series by Friday. And he just sent me one, How to Be a New Leader by Friday. You know what it all deals with?
What?
Setting boundaries.
Setting boundaries. So if you want a new holiday season, time to make some changes.
Okay. Bill Gallagher's personal phone number is 541. No.
Excuse me. Hey,
just go to Bill at teamworks-works.com and ask for the newsletter.
Newsletter, and I'll send you a newsletter on a gracious way to handle opposing political views with your family.
Good. Good to see you, bud.
Good to see you.
All right.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm going to set a boundary and end the show here in about 15 seconds.
Take care.
For 68 years, Ray's Food Place has been the fresh choice for your family. We're your local employee-owned grocery store. Count on us for hot buys every week and fantastic Friday one-day deals. Here's this week's one-day special offer. But remember, fantastic Friday deals are only available one day each week. Community-focused and convenient. That's Ray's Food Place. Proud to be your local employee-owned grocery store. It's time to run to Ray's.
Disasters happen, and Oregon faces a range of disaster threats, including earthquakes, floods, and storms. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be disaster ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
It's one of the most important decisions that you make, which insurance company to choose for the health care that best meets your needs. Turning 65, we have answers. Under 65, we have answers. New to the area, call us 541-301-8787. I'm Don Lockett, a local independent agent representing multiple companies but always working for you. Check out donlockettinsurance.com. Healthcare tailored to your needs.
Since the moment you were born, I've made 1,000 wishes. Wishes for your future. In a world that's changing fast. Because no matter what you do in this life, what matters to me is that you keep doing.
The Dove TV, encouraging, informative, and your home for Wretched TV weeknights at 9 p.m.
Well, good morning. Happy Friday.
Woohoo!
Yes, sir. Cash Friday.
Yeah, it's Casual Friday.
Casual Friday.
Or Sweater Friday, something like that.
Well,
yeah.
you know, we turned a complaint into a happy moment.
Didn't bother us a bit, did it?
Go ahead, fire another one at us. Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Friday. Wow, what a week. And the weather is amazing. It's just delivering a winter that... a pre-winter.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. So we got a lot to talk about there. More cabinet appointments, and I think I'm kind of figuring this game out.
Uh-huh.
Not that I'm happy with all of them by any means.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
But I will say this, that there's something going on that's kind of interesting. We can talk about that. And what's special today?
Well, it is National Philanthropy Day.
Really?
Yeah. You know, I remember in the Wizard of Oz, when they're getting ready to go home, and he was giving them the stuff that they needed and stuff, and he was talking about philanthropists, and the wizard couldn't pronounce it. So he said, good deed doers.
Good deed doers.
And that's what they are. Especially if people have the, the means to do that.
Yeah.
Especially monetarily.
Right.
And so our hats off to you.
Thank you.
Also, this is one of your favorite days, Perry. This is great. National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day.
God.
I know, and you have a history, don't you?
Well,
Well, you know what? There's nothing wrong with it because honestly, I think most people don't have an idea what's in the back of their fridge.
They don't.
Yeah. Yep.
I have come to the conclusion that they ought to make a refrigerator for teenagers.
Tell me about that.
And it's only this deep. You open the door, that's all, because that's all they do. They open the door,
that's their
they
vision?
graze, and if they can't put it right on the end of the shelf.
Oh, I like that. It's
So
scary sometimes. I don't know. And you probably don't have this problem, but I have looked in and grabbed things and looked at the expiration date before and shuddered. I thought, this is death waiting to happen.
So here's another thing. Now that the FDA may be under examination.
Yeah.
Is the shelf life printed on products real?
That's a huge question. Yeah. And what does it mean?
What does it mean?
It's like best buy.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so it's not quite the best, but it's still okay?
Yeah.
And when is not okay?
When is not okay?
Yeah.
When you can't move it? It growls at you? I mean, I don't know. So I think we got some clean food coming our way.
Yeah, it could be. All right.
Anyway, clean out your refrigerator day.
Right, and with that in mind, the next 3 items are just food. So these maybe are things you're cleaning out. I don't know. It's National Raisin Bran Cereal Day.
Okay, that's good.
Now, this has a deep history. We're a big breakfast food kind of a country.
Yeah.
And, the Kellogg's brothers, they waged war on